Welcome back to episode 2 of the Critical Lens podcast, a podcast about all things film. And today we've got a big episode for you guys. We've got the Christopher Nolan special. But first, we're going to talk about some current movie news because this week, a movie that I've been anticipating for 4 years now, and it's going to be another 2 possibly until we get it. We've got the Batman Part 2 delay, along with a little teaser that we got. 30-second ish teaser. It looks pretty cool. We got some shots of, the snow, and which is what everyone was hoping for and everyone was expecting. It looks pretty cool, but still a little pissed off about it. What do you think?
I find the funniest bit of this is that all the delay is because of everyone's favorite villain, J.J. Abrams, because his new film
Yep.
is gonna get IMAX 70mm. So they've delayed the Batman Part 2 for that. That seems stupid
Well,
to me.
it seems like there's kind of multiple reasons for it because there's that, and then also what I've been seeing is that it could possibly be about James Gunn in his releases with his universe. I don't know if that's Batman related, if that's DCU Batman, Brave and the Bold related, or if that's Man of Tomorrow related, or whatever other movie would be coming out around that time. But either way, it's pretty upsetting. Um, I remember in 2020, was that 5, like early 2025, around the time that the Batman Part 1 came out, must have been like uh, February, March-ish of 2025, and I saw the post about the first, it was the first delay, and I was like, God damn it, we were so close. We were a matter of, you know, uh, 7-8 months away from the release, and then we got delayed, and then it got delayed again, and now it's getting delayed again. God damn it. This prior to if you had asked me right before that first delay, early 2020, late 2024, early 2025, this was my most anticipated movie of the future. It was my most anticipated upcoming release. And now it's been so many delays and you know so many different problems with it, and I know that there was stuff going on in Matt Reeves' personal life, and that could have been a big reason for the writing taking so long and the shooting taking, I don't know how long the shoot took, um, but or how long the shoot will continue to take. I don't know how, I guess nobody really knows how far along in the process they are, other than the fact that the script is done. It's pretty much the only concrete thing that we know, is that we're pretty sure the script is good. Um, yeah, but this is pretty upsetting. It's gotten to the point now where I'm not even I don't even really care that much anymore about the movie. Like, I'm obviously very excited for it. Loved the first movie. Um, but it's gotten to the point where, like, I'm thinking about, I've got DCU on the mind. I've got Clayface in the mind. I've got Dune Part 3 in the mind. I still haven't seen the Odyssey, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later in this episode. But yeah, pretty upsetting stuff. Um, but hey, good for Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson has been using this time wisely. The last few years, and is probably going to continue to be in a ton of movies. He's gotten a bunch of big roles. He was just in the drama. He's going to be in Dune Part 3. Good for him. I mean, that movie is going to be, I hope that movie is the best movie of the year. I hope it's the best movie of the trilogy. But yeah. You have
Yeah.
anything else to say about the Batman Part 2? Yeah.
No, because like you like to say, it's a fake movie. So until I'm sitting in the theater watching it on the big
Yeah.
screen, it's
Yeah,
not
it's a
real.
fake movie. Yep. Yeah, I mean that's what I've been saying too. It's yeah. I don't even want to think about it anymore. I want to out of my mind because I spend so much time, you know, being pissed off about it. I've written letterboxed reviews that were a little mean spirited. I've written, yeah, I've been pretty pissed off in the past, but I'm past it. If it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Who cares? Who cares? We're getting DCU Batman. We're getting Alan Richardson, hopefully, possibly. Um, I'm looking forward to still getting more Batman stuff. I'm looking forward to whatever we're gonna be getting with James Gunn's Batman, um, or Andy Muschietti's Batman. Wow, if that's still happening, is Andy Muschietti still slated to be doing the Batman movie for the DCU?
So far, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's fun. That definitely gives me a bunch of hope that it's going to be amazing. Super excited for that one. Super excited for that one. Anything else
Well,
here?
no, I don't really have anything to add. But since we're talking about Batman, I figure we can use
Yep.
this nice transition to talk about someone who did have a Batman sequel out within 3 years of his first Batman film, and who currently has a movie out in theaters, and who this episode is dedicated to, Mr. Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, baby. Swapping around
Maybe,
here.
maybe the not my favorite filmmaker of this generation, but he is arguably the most popular and the only and like the biggest director of this generation. He has had a long track record so far of films that are bare minimum enjoyed. They're very highly praised, best of whatever genre. He is very well beloved, and he has a new film out, The Odyssey. I'll talk about that in a minute because I saw that on Saturday. But before I talk about the movie itself, I want to give Nolan some more flowers than I'm already going to, because a little good news comes his way as the Odyssey makes a bunch of money, makes a
Yep.
buttload of money. It is his highest opening of a non-Batman film. It's his second highest opening worldwide, I think, in his entire career. It's the third.
Yes, all I heard was I didn't know super specifics about that, but I was hearing that it opened better than Oppenheimer.
Nolan didn't need Barbie for this. He has the third biggest opening for an R-rated film, and this is the second biggest of the year. So congrats to Nolan. Um,
Hmm.
264 million for an R-rated, near 3-hour retelling of an iconic story is nothing to scoff at. He was the one that most moviegoers went to go for, by the way. 51% of moviegoers who saw The Odyssey went for Christopher Nolan. The entire ensemble cast was a combined 44%.
What's that according to?
Polling data, because they turn around and have they turn around and poll people as they exit the theater. They'll ask like what they thought of the movie, what drew them to the
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
movie.
Yep.
So Christopher Nolan was the big draw.
He
51% of
is.
people went for him.
Yeah, he is box office nowadays. Like he is like the modern day like Spielberg in terms of like if he's making a movie, everyone's going. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what the genre is. It doesn't matter like if his name is attached, he's pulling people in. He's putting butts in seats. So that's big. Do
Oh,
you
it's
want to talk?
big.
Do you want to talk? Do you want
Um,
to talk Odyssey for a little bit?
um, really quick. I do think we have a live image of Nolan right now. I believe this is it. Uh,
Yeah. Yep.
man,
Yeah.
man is raking in the money now. Since this is all Nolan centric, I saw the Odyssey on Saturday,
Yep.
and I saw it at the AMC Lincoln Square in New York on the biggest screen I think in the country. And
Yes,
walking in,
I
I was
believe
like,
so.
okay. Walking in, I was like, okay, this is easily, I believe, Nolan's highest rated film by critics ever at 95%. It's a 97% audience. It's got an A cinema score.
Yep.
So when I sat down as someone who was skeptical of whether or not this movie would actually be good, I got nervous. I had nervous shakes. I was like, is the hype in my head not gonna live? Is it not gonna live up to that hype? Am I actually gonna get a bad Nolan film for the first time in a few years? Um, I had a little bit of nervousness,
It's been more than a few
but
years, bud.
it's been 6. But I am happy to report that the Odyssey is actually pretty great. And I want to start by giving my praises to Nolan's craftsmanship, his cinematographer, Hoytman Hoytum, who he worked with on Oppenheimer. Stunning
Yep.
visuals, yet again. Production design, incredible. Costumes were good. Not all great, but very good, pretty good across the board. Um, Makeup and hairstyling was good. Um, Nolan as a director, he's a great director. I'm never going to take that away from him. He knows how to work behind the scenes. He knows how to get good performances out of his actors. He knows how to get the shot.
Yep.
He's he's improved. He has improvements here in terms of his writing, which is something I usually criticize him for. Not big
He's
improvements, but
he's
improvements
on and
nonetheless.
off.
On and off, yeah, but big improvements nonetheless. But I have to give a big shout out to the cast, and I mean, yeah, it's a giant ensemble, so a bunch of people got like 5 minutes of screen time max.
Right. Yep.
But I figure I give a few minutes and talk about some of the standouts, and there is no bigger standout in this movie for me than the one, the only, the amazing Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway is so
Oh yeah,
freaking good.
she's your standout performance.
She's my number one performance in the whole film.
Yeah.
I think she's remarkable. She is the front runner for Best Supporting Actress right now, easily. I think she commands the screen very well. She has a better written female role than a lot of Nolan projects typically do. So she's able to work with better material. She's able to turn
Right.
around and actually uplift a couple of the weaker actors in the movie. We'll get to that in a second. But every moment she's on screen, I'm locked in. She's a great screen presence. She does a phenomenal job. All impressed with her. She nails the emotional core of her character. She nails everything she's designed to nail. It's perfect. I love her. She's my favorite person in the film. Another
Yeah.
person that I want to turn around and shout out um, is someone that I didn't think I would shout them out, not having seen the movie. I respect them and their work, but I didn't think that I was going to turn around and love them as much as I did.
Is this Tom
Elliot
Holland?
Page.
Oh, okay, okay.
Elliot Page. Now, when the character in this scene right here is why. When you get to this scene in the Odyssey with Elliot Page is remarkable. It's one of my favorite moments in the entire movie. It's an incredible standout moment. I'm all the more happy that Elliot Page got to do this and prove everybody wrong. I'm very happy that Elliot Page gets to show their acting range and that he is once again put in a wonderful position thanks to Christopher Nolan, who has worked with him before, knows his strengths
Yeah.
and weaknesses, and is able to utilize them well. So,
Yeah,
Elliot,
I heard it wasn't much screen time, but yeah.
5 minutes, I think, max.
Yeah.
Took those 5 minutes and ran with them. Very good job. Again, I didn't think I would be praising them as much as I am. beforehand. I was sure I'd enjoy their work, enjoy their performance, but now having seen the movie, my God, that scene, that image is from that's in the trailer, um, is just it's extraordinary. I'm so happy with it. I have to give another shout out to again someone that got good praise heading into the Odyssey. That I was unsure if it would be really worth all the praise, but
Okay.
having seen their sequence now, I have to agree they're really good. And Samantha Morton,
Yeah.
Cersei, that whole sequence, I want to know how they filmed it. I'll get into spoiler details in a moment, but this she is incredible for the very small time she has on screen. She is snappy with it. She just second she's on screen, she takes she takes the focus on her, never lets it go. She steals the screen presence from Matt Damon and from everybody else
Yep.
in that crew that has to act alongside her. She is phenomenal. And now I'm going to say a few spoilers. So if you want to mute yourself or mute me, by all means, go
Well,
ahead.
I just want to say, I
But
just want to comment on, like, obviously everybody knows when this movie was being cast, and everyone was talking about like how insane the cast is and how many big names there are. There are so many big names in this movie that, like, I didn't even know some of the people that were going to be in it. Like, I didn't know John Leguizamo was going to be in it. I didn't know Samantha Morton was in it. You know, so I mean, it's a pretty insane cast looking at it, and I mean they got Travis Scott in here. That obviously I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know exactly how he was utilized. I know that I'm pretty sure that he was doing like narration kind of stuff, but I don't know super specifics. Um, but yeah, you can go ahead and talk spoilers now.
talk spoilers about a 3,000-year-old story. But Cersei here, it's a wonderful sequence where she literally, if you need to mute me, she turns Odysseus's crew into pigs, and how they do it practically is unreal. I want to know how that sequence was filmed. I want to know all the techniques they used. This is where I feel Nolan is strongest, is when I see filmmaking and craft like that that makes me go, holy crap, what did you do? How did you do it? Tell me, tell me, tell me. It is simply on another level. The way the faces morph, and she's just so casual with her hand movements, like it's second nature. Though again, she just her line deliveries are so eerie and chilly. There's a horror. It's not horror in the typical horror like aspects we know of like gore or like very deep dread and suspense, but it is very eerie and creepy, and the way what she's doing to these men, and it is simply next level. And I am so happy that she nails it, knocks it out of the park. I bet best sequence in the film, arguably next to the Elliot Page sequence that I was referencing earlier. But that's just three. I mean, I could go on. I mean, for Pete's sake, someone that I forgot was even in the movie, but I gotta give a shout out to good old fashioned Himesh Patel. I forgot he was cast in this movie, but dude, Himesh Patel holds his own so well, and I'm so happy that he got a lot more screen time than a lot of other people. He does really well with what he has. And I am happy that Nolan is able to pick these actors and put them in good roles. Because the last time he worked with them was Tenet. So I'm happy that he's able to come back around and do this Nolan film and have a really good prominent role and nail every single second of it. A couple more shout outs. I have to mention John Leguizamo since you brought him up. what a what a turn. What an absolute turn. This man right here on screen, he was probably my biggest surprise. I didn't think John Leguizamo had it in him. I'm used to him in like more lighter, not as like rich. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know if that's the way to describe it, but I've never seen John Leguizamo in a role like this. So, knowing he was in a role like this, I'm like, okay, let's see how that works, and it works incredibly well. This man right here, this man right here, is one of probably the best characters in the movie in terms of like journey and like in terms of how important they are, and in terms of how much you like them. Because at first you don't really care for them, but that's not John Leguizamo's part. You're not meant to. You're meant to be like, okay, he's there. As the movie goes on, he gets better and better and better and better to the point where he's stealing scenes, and I was just mind blown, and I can't believe that I'm saying that about John Leguizamo in a Christopher Nolan film, but he nailed it. All the better for it. Two more people I want to shout out because this cast is huge. Um, I want everyone to know. Anyone who turned around and was like, Lupita Nyong'o is not pretty enough for Helena Troy. This lady right here, I would I would be in that army of 1,000 ships just to save her. She is absolutely jaw-droppingly stunning. She is perfection. Lupita Nyong'o is one of the best actresses working right now. Easily proves that here, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Her ability to play Helena Troy and the twin sister as two very different, interesting characters with the limited screen time that she's given, and the way she just uses her eyes is so good. Anyone who doubts her again, never listening to a single complaint. She always delivers. And I had no doubt she was going to deliver as Helena Troy. And once again, I have to say, all the criticism, all the controversy about her playing Helena Troy, yeah, go fuck right off. She's just remarkable. I love her so much. Stunning, beautiful, everything she needed to be to play Helena Troy. She is, and then she takes the role and does incredible with it. Wish she had a little more screen time. She is so good. I love her so much. Um, and lastly, because there's so many people to talk about, because this cast is absolutely massive. There's only so many people I can talk about, so I'm gonna use an intermediary spot because I don't love this one, but I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. And I know it works for what it is. He does a fine job. Darn it, I'm talking about Travis Scott. He's done, he's brought in the opening to narrate, and then towards the end, towards like the beginning of the third act, to be continue to do another start of a narration. He's like this. He's the song teller about Odysseus's taking of Troy. And you know what? I saw him in the trailer, and I was like, "There's no way we're getting Travis Scott in the Odyssey. What are you doing, Nolan?" Having now seen the film, Travis Scott does a good job. You know what? I'll admit it. He does fine. Would I have cast him? Probably not still. But you know what? Credit where credit's due. He proved me wrong. He proved me wrong. I'm talking about Travis Scott in a positive way in an Odyssey review. I never thought I'd be saying that. And no, I'm not referring to the song that plays over the credits because I didn't stay for that. Ain't no way. I'm talking about his performance for like the minute and a half he's in there, at a maximum minute and a half. He does a really good job. Matt Damon, um, Matt Damon gonna Matt Damon. Matt Damon does good. I don't think he. I think he he does a good job. I don't think there are moments where I'm like, Matt Damon is Matt Damoning. Or he's just Matt Damon. He's Matt Damon. You know what you're getting with Matt Damon. You're getting a good job, sometimes a great job. I think this was one of the good, close to great jobs that he's done. He knows what he's doing. I have no doubt that maybe not the best pick, but he knew he was trusted with this. He ran with it. He does a really good job. A couple of times where I'm like, and like walking around Troy, I'm like, not. But other than that, just a great cast. I will say there was no reason to cast Mia Goth. It felt like she was barely in the movie. Mia Goth didn't really get to do anything, so she felt like a waste. Robert Pattinson is really good. I don't dislike any cast member, but Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland were my two weak links. Um, Tom Holland this is probably the best I've seen him ever, and it's still just there's still a part of me that feels that he was miscast. Like there's something missing there, but he does good with what he's given. And Robert Pattinson. I mean, what else do I have to say? He's really good. Not as great as some of the other people in the cast. A bit comically, a little funny to watch his villain towards the end, but that's whatever. Um, Again, great production design, great cinematography. There's most of the technical aspects of a Nolan film are going to be up there in the higher echelons of movie making. So credit where credit's due. I only have a couple negatives. Nolan's sound design needs a lot of work because imagine, if you will, that you have the loudest. Imagine you're having a conversation, and half the conversation is gone because someone's playing this over and over and over again at louder and louder intervals, making it hard to hear what people are saying. I couldn't hear half the dialogue, and I was in IMAX, and it's so bad. Nolan's dialogue mixing is not good. It's not good in Tenet. It's not good here. It's just a mess. Structure wise and pacing wise, it's not good either. It's very janky. It felt rough for me to get to a good portion of the first act as we're trying to get into the world, get into the characters. It felt very janky and not as engaging as I wanted it to be. And then I haven't talked about the score because the score is fine. The score is fine. It's drums and a couple other instruments. When they're going by the sirens, that score portion, amazing, incredible. Everything else though is just drums that get louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder until you can't hear anything, and all you can think about is, oh my god, these drums are too loud. So I don't know what they were smoking when they made the score. Ludwig Göransson is obviously very talented, but I think Nolan should have allowed him to use an orchestra because limiting him to such few things kind of sucks. Because he could have had an all-timer score, but instead we have a score that's solid, but is so progressively louder as scenes go on that at some point you can't hear people talking, and that's not a good thing. And then I guess the only other thing left is everybody's been saying they levitated in the theater or had an out of body experience, or that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's like a religious experience in that theater during the third act. The third act is fine. The third act is good. It is nowhere near an out of body experience. Out of body experience is something like towards the end of Oppenheimer, when you are able to feel the existential dread of the decisions they have made to create the atomic bomb and the blood that is now on all their hands, and what that means for the world that these weapons of mass destruction exist. It is different than the Odyssey, where it doesn't feel like an out of body experience. It feels like a very solid theater going enjoying experience. But in no way did I feel like I was out of my seat levitating, having an absolute holy moment. Christopher Nolan's a really good director, and this continues to prove that he's a really good director. But to call him to have the praise of this being like his magnum opus, or or treating it like it's the second coming of Jesus Christ, that only Christopher Nolan could have made this movie. No, I don't think that. I think a different director like a Denis Villeneuve could have taken this story and done something really interesting with it. Not that Nolan did anything bad with it; he did good with it. I just think that a different director could have been better. I don't know. I'm not treating Nolan like a god or a king. He is a really good director who knows what he's doing. And I just need him to learn how to dialogue mix and how to tell a story in a straight line again. Because holy mother of mercy, kill me. That pacing is terrible. But 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 stars. Um would recommend watching it. Would recommend seeing it in theaters. You don't If you can't make it to IMAX, that's okay. But in the end, really good movie. Not the not a 10 out of 10, 50 million out of 10, a religious going journey that a lot of people seem to be feeling. It deserves praise for a lot of the aspects. A lot of the cast members deserve a lot of praise. I'm very happy. I'm happy with the final product. Felt it could have been better. And 8 out of 10 seems like the right fit for me. Not top four Nolan, but it's in the upper half of Nolan filmography, and I'm happy to take it there. But I think that's it for the Odyssey. I have nothing really else to add, so I think I'm good. I I'm all set. I've said what I needed to say. Um,
All right.
not non spoiler
All
thing
right. Well, then
before
let's
I
move on.
one
Okay.
more thing. It's no spoilers, but this will be the most nominated film at the Oscars come next season. Just be ready for that too, because of all the tech aspects that I
Yeah, I
talked
wouldn't
about.
be. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I would be pretty upset about that because of Dune Part 3. Obviously, the first Dune got a ton of noms, right? And then the second one kind of dipped off. I remember when Dune Part 2 came out, everybody was, and not when Dune Part 2 came out, when the 2024, the Oscars for the 2024 movies were happening, and everyone saw the amount of nominations and the amount of wins that Dune Part 2 got. Everyone was kind of comparing it to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and how like the first one got a ton of noms, the second one kind of dipped off, and then obviously Return of the King is the one that kind of like swept and had this like massive moment in the Oscars. And everyone, obviously Dune fans are hoping that the same is going to kind of happen with the Dune trilogy and with Dune Part 3. So I'm still hoping, obviously, big fan of Christopher Nolan. I wouldn't be upset about the Odyssey doing well at the Oscars for next year, but I would kind of prefer if Dune Part 3 had a nice Return of the King style, sweep through the Oscars next year. But we'll see. We'll see.
For
But let's move on to our game for the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, for that to happen, they would have to nominate Denis Villeneuve first, and they haven't done that for either Dunes. And I know the comparison because Dune 1 got nominated for 10 Oscars, won 6. Dune Part 2 got nominated for 5 Oscars, won 2. So this would need to a minimum get nominated for 11 and then sweep all 11. That's not happening. The Oscars would never do that for Denis Villeneuve for Dune 3.
No, I
I
don't.
don't
I
see
don't.
it.
I'm not saying. I don't. I don't mean it that extreme. I don't need it to literally be Return of the King, but I would. I would like. I mean, obviously, I haven't. Nobody has seen Dune Part 3 yet, but I'm assuming that when it comes out, I'm gonna be hoping that it does very well and that Denis does very well. Um, But hey, I mean, Nolan didn't win Best Director until Oppenheimer, right? So that doesn't necessarily, just because he hasn't gotten a ton of love in the past. Nolan didn't get a ton of love in the past before Oppenheimer. You know, Oppenheimer was kind of like, in terms of the Oscars, like his big like. Am I wrong about that? I mean, that's like the first time that the Oscars like were like, here are your, we're giving you your flowers, Nolan. Like, here is your, you know,
Oh, you're talking about winning. Well, in terms of winning, yes, but I would say
yeah,
that Nolan fundamentally changed the Oscars because The Dark Knight, a film that should
yes,
have
yeah,
probably been nominated for Best Picture, didn't get in, and people were so
yeah.
furious about that
2008
fact
wasn't
that
that good of a year. So yeah, it definitely should
they
have been nominated.
extended Best Picture. They extended Best Picture from 5 to 10
Yeah,
because of The Dark Knight. Nolan
yeah,
fundamentally changed the Oscars.
yeah, yeah. I know. So I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Doom Part 3. I'm hoping for it. I wouldn't mind the Odyssey doing very well. Sure, it will do very well. But that just because you also have to think about, Nolan's last film before this was Oppenheimer, which pretty much swept. Are they going to do that again for literally the next movie right after Oppenheimer for Nolan? Because remember, this is the Oscars we're talking about. They don't care about what deserves to win and be nominated. It's all politics, and it's more about, okay, let's so they might be thinking, oh, like, Oppenheimer, Nolan, we know that your movie is probably really good. Obviously, half the people who are voting aren't going to actually watch the Odyssey, and we didn't see Oppenheimer either. But we actually just gave you a ton of awards for last time. So we're good on this. We're gonna actually go over to Denis now, because now this is his chance, right? So we'll see. I mean, there's a very good chance that the Odyssey doesn't really win much, because no matter how good the quality of the movie is, that doesn't matter for winning awards. Like, the quality isn't it's a factor, but it's not the biggest factor when it
I
comes
will
to
say,
award season.
I will tell you now, if Dune Part 3, if the rest of the movie matches up to the 3 minutes I saw in front of the Odyssey, if it doesn't win Best Picture, if it matches that energy, I will have a whole side of me that nobody has yet to experience. My anger with the Academy will be next level. I'm telling you that
Yeah, I
now.
mean, I don't really care anymore. Um, like, I don't really have like anger or hatred towards the Oscars, because I'm hoping that, I mean, we're in 2026. The Oscars have been going on for a very long time. I'm hoping by now that, like, soon, obviously, like, the Oscars are still very big once, people that are in the movie sphere are still constantly talking about it when the season comes around. But I'm hoping that we're not far off from people being like, okay, fuck you guys, we're done even caring anymore. I'm feeling that we're not far away from, like, a large percentage of the film community kind of just giving two middle fingers to them and saying, like, yeah, I'm not even going to associate with myself with you anymore, kind of thing, you know. So if it who cares who wins? I don't even care. Don't even care. It'll be cool to see, if Denis gets his flowers, finally, because, I mean, you and I both agree Denis better than Nolan. Dune Part 3 probably has a pretty damn good chance of being better than the Odyssey. Um, so, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
If okay,
Moral of the
we'll
story: stop, stop caring about the Oscars. Um, if if everyone just continues to care about them, that's kind of how they get their power. So if we all just kind of say screw off, we don't even care about your award season, then you know, it'll become less of a important thing in the
okay.
movie world.
Before we continue, I'm not going to talk about what was contained in it, but I do have to acknowledge the fact that I saw 3 minutes of Dune Part 3 because it's killing me inside. I'm not going to say what was in it because I don't want to ruin it for you because you're not seeing it
Yeah,
yet. I'm
don't
not going to
spoil
say,
anything because I
I'm
haven't
not
seen it and I
spoiling a
don't want
single
to.
thing. I'm not going to spoil a single thing.
Yep.
I literally just,
Okay.
a text came up with a message from Denise saying, here's a glimpse. And then we saw 3 minutes. And as you know, this is
Right.
my most anticipated film, probably in my life. And
Yep.
the trailers I have loved. This is they look so fucking good, but
I've
there's
seen
a
the first one. It is very good.
there's a difference between seeing the trailers versus seeing footage, the actual movie playing out the way it's supposed to, like watching the events start happening
Right.
as the director intended.
Yeah.
I I was in awe. It was insane to watch, and I'm not lying to you. I happy cried after it was over.
Yeah, I know. I know. You're an emotional little bitch. I know.
No, it wasn't it wasn't like out of emotion. It not necessarily like it didn't make me emotional. It was one of those rare instances where I was so overwhelmed with joy, with satisfaction that something that I'm hoping is as the quality I'm used to actually lives up to it. And it's one of those very rare
Right.
moments where I turned around and watched it and it not only
And
matched
you
my
were like,
the
and
quality
you, yeah, you were like, wow, this might actually live up to it, kind of thing. Yeah.
might not live up to my high expectations, might live up to the high quality I'm expecting from Denis. And the fact that it even that those 3 minutes of what might be a 3 hour movie
Yep.
made me feel that way. I was so overwhelmed with joy that yeah, happy tears came out of my face. I can't help it. I was so
Yeah.
proud. I was like a proud papa watching their kid. I'm gonna cry now, dude. I'm that happy with it. And I want the rest of the movie to nail what those 3 minutes did. I'm
And I'm
so
sure it will.
ready.
I have full confidence in Denis. Denis has not given us any reason to not be confident in pretty much any movie he's ever made. Um, at least since he came back from his long break, Polytechnique on, he hasn't missed. Um, yeah, so very very excited for Dune Part 3. Excited for the
Mhm.
Odyssey. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet, but
Mhm.
I'll see it eventually. And
Well,
yeah,
with the Odyssey now out, that makes Christopher Nolan. This makes Christopher Nolan's 13th film as a filmmaker.
yep,
So, as does all the time when a director makes a new movie, you go back, you reevaluate his filmography, and you rank his films. Now,
let's do it.
normally, no, we're gonna do our own. I know, but I know you felt it would be fun
You
if
want
we
me to
did a
take
collaborative
the floor
ranking.
on this? You want me to take
Yeah,
the floor
because
on this?
you pitched it to
Okay.
me. So how about I give you the floor?
Okay. So I got this idea from other movie drafts, movie draft podcast. I believe the movie draft podcast got it from Screen Rant, which or I believe is their name. I'm not unfamiliar with, but the idea for this collaborative style draft rules. So do you want to pull the doc up? Okay, so if
Explain
you
how to
scroll
do.
down to if you scroll down to abilities, this is going to be a collaborative style draft. So we are working together to place where each film is going to be. If you scroll down to abilities, you'll see that there are two drafter positions, drafter A and drafter B. Gonna give you a second while you scroll down. Okay. Um, there will be vetoes involved. So drafter A will get two vetoes, drafter B gets one. Um, the reason the reason why drafter A gets the number one overall pick and two vetoes is that we're working from the bottom up. So we're working from 13 up to one. So by the time we get to those last two picks, by the time we get to pick number two, drafter B is essentially going to be able to pick what goes between number one and number two for the two remaining films. So drafter A doesn't really get to pick the number one the number one movie, so they're going to get two vetoes.
Okay.
We see above the eligible films to draft. If you're here watching this episode, I'm sure you're familiar with his filmography. 13 films, and let's do it.
All
Um,
right. How do so I have a coin thing pulled up if you
okay,
want to flip for it. So are
let's
you
do it.
heads or tails?
I will be heads.
Okay, I'll be
For
tails.
okay,
All right, heads.
heads. Perfect. Okay. All right. This is starting good for me. So I am going to choose to be drafter A because
Okay.
I want those two vetoes.
Okay. So, Mr. Spitz, what do you have for last place?
Okay, so obviously to preface this, as we've said, I have not seen the Odyssey. So the plan is kind of when it comes to the Odyssey, I'm gonna kind of let you take the floor with that. Wherever you want to put it is gonna be where you put it. I'm not gonna if you play wherever you place the Odyssey, no matter where it is, I'm not gonna veto it. I'm just gonna kind of leave it alone. I'm focusing on the other 12. So for number 13, which would be my number 12, I'm going to be placing Following. Obviously, Nolan's first feature film. This was, the film that he was making while he was, pretty, just starting out. Small budget, black and white, pretty kind of like the stereotypical, like, you know, feature, debut feature film, black and white kind of cinematography, with a lot of, that we see with a lot of, we see a lot of, big directors do early on. Um, I, I think this is a good movie. I think it's solid for what it is, for the budget that it had, and where Nolan was, you know, in his career. I think it's a solid effort. Um, but it just doesn't reach the highs of any of his other films. It doesn't, and yeah. So number 13, Following.
Not a bad pick. I'm not high on the following either. It's just okay in my eyes. It's a fine start to a director's filmography. I wouldn't say it's anything extraordinary. And plus it's short, so it's a nice, quick, hour-long get through. So no big problems there. So number 13, Following. All right, let me just pull this back up. So back to it.
I
Number
already know what
12.
I already know what you're gonna do here, and not
Give
super
me
excited for it.
number 12. I'm putting Tenet. Are you vetoing or
Okay,
no?
okay. So this is where I have to. This is my fork in the road already. We're only the second pick in, and this is where I have to decide whether I'm just gonna leave it be, because I've got two vetoes, and I basically have to decide right now whether I'm going to use basically all of my abilities to get Tenet as high as possible, um, or whether I'm just going to say, or whether I'm just going to leave it and focus on other movies. Um, this is my this is my favorite Nolan movie, or I would say, pretty much tied with another movie for my favorite Nolan movie. Um, but am I going to veto it? Um, yeah, I'm going to veto it. I'm going to veto it. Pick something else.
Son of a
I want to.
fine. Oh,
I'm going to at least get it in the top 10.
all right.
I might not use a second veto on it, but I at least want it in the top 10. Because for me,
Fine.
I'm not gonna spoil where I would have it, but I'd have it hell of a lot higher than 10. Pick
Fine then.
again.
Interstellar, because it's another bottom three for me. Look, this film is fine. I'm not super high on. It's not a masterpiece like so many people claim it to be. A lot of people seem to really overhype it. It's got, once again, beautiful visuals, a beautiful score from Hans Zimmer. Like, I'm not denying that from uh, a Christopher Nolan film. He knows his stuff, but and I mean, like, when you have a shot like this, yes, you're gonna get points from me. But the characters are so uninteresting, pretty boring, and he forgets his son, dude. Like he has two kids and just acts like one doesn't exist. I know it's a joke with Nolan Bros, but it's honestly
Yeah.
no father would forget about his other kid. I would hope not. I would
Well,
hope a dad as decent as Cooper would not forget his second kid. And also,
right.
his son names his son. So Matthew McConaughey's grandson names him Cooper because he's an
Yep.
idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, there yeah, listen, I mean, if I can jump in here for a second.
Mhm.
I'm not as high as everybody else on Interstellar either. I'm a hell of a lot higher on it than you are. I would not have it at number 12, but I'm not going to veto this. I'm not uh I don't care enough about this movie. There are multiple other Nolan films that I like more and I think are better. Um so 12 is perfectly okay with me. I know that's going to be a hot take with a lot of the viewers, but yeah, I'm totally fine with it at 12.
Look, I want
Okay.
to put it at 12 either, but unfortunately, the one I was going to put below it got vetoed. So number 12 it
Yeah,
goes.
because it's a clearly better movie than Interstellar. A clearly better movie.
That's not
And
all accurate.
you know what? We're going to check back 5 years from now and that 3 point I know what it's got on Letterboxd. It's got a 3.4. Tenant 5 years from now, it's going to be even higher. The revisionist history is going to continue. I have been a Tenant defender since day one. You know that, and it's oh God, it's a masterpiece, dude. It's so good, so good. Okay, number 11, which this is my number 11. Or sorry, number 11. It is my number 11. I'm going with a movie that has very high highs. And if we were ranking this list based off of just personal enjoyment, personal entertainment, this could be like top five, like most rewatchable Nolan films. But if we're ranking these based off of quality, um, my number 11 is The Dark Knight Rises. I think it is clearly the worst of the Nolan Batman trilogy in terms of quality. There is a lot of silly conveniences. There's a lot of silliness in it. It's like I said, it's a very entertaining movie, but it is not the best. It's a bit clunky. There's some there's some silliness in it, and well, there's that's a pretty big pro. That actually makes me want to put it a little higher. But yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a very fun movie. I got to see it in theaters a couple of years ago. I believe that was 2024, may have been 2023, and yeah, very fun movie. But quality wise, it just doesn't reach the rest of his filmography.
Oh, it's easily the messiest of the Batman trilogy, and
It's the
another.
messiest. You won't agree with this because of your Tenet, your despise and disgust for Tenet, which disgusts me. But it is his messiest film by far. It is by far his messiest film. It is by far his film with the most dumb things. There is, when the part of the movie where all the people are, they just have to put everybody away, and you know there's so many silly parts of the movie. But yeah, but I know
All
that you
right.
feel this but I know that you feel very similar about The Dark Knight Rises, so I know it's not going to get vetoed.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. No. There's. I have a lot. There's quite a few issues there. It's definitely a mess. It's towards the bottom of my Nolan list too. But nothing I can do about that. Oh well. So we just go back to what we were doing, and now we've hit number 10. My turn. Let's try this again. For crying out loud, Tenet is not going higher than this. Please, for all that is holy. Are you vetoing it now, or are you going to leave Tenet where it is?
So at first, I was going to. I said before that I was only going to veto it once because I want to at least leave one veto for for something else. But my issue with that is that outside of Tenet, we don't disagree all that much about the rest of the ranking. So I'm not sure that there's going to be another movie that I care about vetoing enough for me not to just use another veto on Tenet. Um, but for the sake of the game, I will just leave it and and use my veto elsewhere.
Oh my god! Holy crap! I didn't expect that. Honest to God,
It's in the top it's in the top 10. It's not, at the bottom of the damn list, which is what you would have wanted. For some reason you think it, yeah. Well, we'll talk about our individual rankings later, but
yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, Tenet. I was able to go first. I would have ranked it last. Um, this is probably my least
Disgusting.
favorite Nolan. That's my least favorite
It should
Nolan.
be top 5 easily.
No. There are two positives I have with it. The opening sequence is really well executed. Nolan knows how to open a film. It's remarkable. I will give you the opening sequence. I have it on Blu-ray too. You're not doing anything to me. I have that too. The opening sequence of Tenet is great. Robert Pattinson is my favorite part of the whole movie. I love this man, and I love this man in Tenet. He has so much charisma on screen. I'm so happy to watch him while he's on it. The problem is
He
everything
does.
surrounding him sucks. So there you go. It's boring. It doesn't even follow its own logic well. I just don't care. And by the end of the movie, I felt like I could have slept. So yeah, bottom tier Nolan for me. I wish I could put it lower, but I'm happy you didn't veto it. You got it in the top 10. You're welcome. I would like to move on from Tenet because I know if we keep going on Tenet, we're going to be here for 20 minutes minimum while you and I go back and forth on it. So Jesus
Yeah,
Christ, number 10 is Tenet.
I can't even start talking about my feelings on the movie because we will be here. If I start, we'll be here for another hour. So
All right.
just talking about
Number 9.
how absolutely amazing Tenet is. But number 9 is me,
Yep.
and I am going to be putting a movie that, to be honest, if you had asked me a couple years ago, this would actually be maybe a couple of spots higher. Um, I really love this movie. It has one of actually it has at least one of my favorite actors of all time. Um, I think it is very good for what it is. It's Nolan's only remake in his filmography. I'm going with Insomnia. 2002's Insomnia. I really like this movie. I really dig this movie. I like the back and forth with Robin Williams and Al Pacino. It's pretty sick that this is that Nolan has worked with Robin Williams and Al Pacino, um, and still got them at a good enough time in their careers to be able to deliver as great of a performance as I think both of them have in this film. Hilary Swank, I think, is very good in this movie. Um, yeah, it's a very good movie. I think both of us would agree from here on out that we're dealing with only great movies from here on out. There's some movies below this spot that one of us isn't a huge fan of, um, but this is just like the bottom of his great movies is something that we can both agree on, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to be brief on this because Insomnia is probably is one of the only two sleepers in Nolan's filmography. Um, Good performance. It's the one film in Nolan's filmography that doesn't feel Nolan-y. After I watched it, I said it felt
Yeah,
like it was a David Fincher film that Nolan directed. So I think
yeah.
that's pretty interesting that Nolan can turn around and do something like that. Robin Williams and Al Pacino, really good. It's just there are better Nolan films than this. It's still a pretty solid film. I really like it, but there are better
I
Nolan
honest,
films than Insomnia, and it is my number
I
9 as well.
honestly, yeah, I honestly think that if again, same thing with same thing I'm gonna kind of say for The Dark Knight Rises. Obviously, doesn't have nearly as many like flaws and things kind of holding it back than The Dark Knight Rises, but it's a similar situation in where like if I was ranking this based off of rewatchability, it would actually probably go a decent amount higher because I have a lot of fun with it. You know, it is probably one of my favorite Nolan films. Um, but just I just it's not on the level quite on the level as the rest as his top eight.
I agree. And now we go to number 8. And I don't know
Give
how
it
this
to
is
me.
gonna play well, but Inception.
Yeah. I guess I am actually. I was saying before that that there's not going to be anything else that we really disagree with that much. I kind of forgot that we do that our ranking on this is a little different as well. Um,
Yep.
I'm not gonna let you talk about it yet. Yes, I am. Yes, I'm gonna let. What am I gonna do here? Oh no. Um, I'm not gonna let you talk about it here because I'm gonna be vetoing it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when we once we get where it stays. But for now, pick something else.
All right, well then I'll have to go with the next film I would have rated higher than it, and that is Memento.
Perfect.
Memento
Perfect.
will turn around to be in my number 8 spot. One of Nolan's better scripts. The first time he ever got nominated for an Oscar. Guy Pearce does a really good job as a man that's lost his memory and is remembering everything that happened to him. It's the first time Nolan did a non-linear style of storytelling. I think it worked really well. Um,
Uh,
I think Carrie Moss is really good, and I think that it's just that a lot of times earlier work doesn't like it's got really good praise. I give it all the credit in the world. I mean, how can you look at this man right here and not be like he did a really good job, even though he thinks he did a bad job? So I think this was a really good movie, and I think that Nolan did a good Nolan. So that's all I have to say about it. I don't have much else to say. What about you?
um, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong because I've only seen it. Not this, but I've only seen Following once, and it's been a few years. Isn't there some kind of a little bit of like timey-wimey, non-linear storytelling in that as well?
No, I think that one's pretty straightforward. I think it literally just goes in chronological order.
I don't believe so, but that it doesn't matter. We've already gone past that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, Memento, a movie that I have seen twice. The first time was quite a while ago, at least like uh 5, 6-ish years ago. Um Rewatched it last year, I believe. I actually um yeah, and I think I think it's a great movie. I'd give it like a high 4 star. Um, it's another very entertaining movie, but um, I guess kind of goes with some of these um, movies with a twist kind of thing, where you know the rewatchability goes down a little bit with with films that are structured like this. A lot of the big like amazement. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I was like blown away. I thought it was like one of the best movies I had ever seen. Um, just because it's one of those movies that makes you feel like that because of like the shock value of watching it for the first time. Um, but as time has gone on, a little lower on it. Still a great movie, but I don't think either that it is amongst the best of his career. I think it's one of those movies where older Nolan fans that probably saw Memento in theaters and that have kind of been there for like most of his filmography, a lot of older film fans tend to put Memento pretty high on their Nolan rankings. Um, but for me, for both of us, it's somewhere in the middle, even a little bit low. So I
All
like
right.
it here.
All right. Now, before we go to the next number, name this actress.
Carrie Ann Moss.
Okay, you do remember. I'm happy
Yeah,
for
come on now.
you.
What do you think I am? I like Carrie Ann Moss. She's yeah. I don't know how many movies I've seen her in. Obviously she's in The Matrix, right? But
Yep.
and she did that the year right before this. Gets That's actually pretty crazy that for obviously we weren't there for the for the lead up or the release of this movie, but it's pretty crazy to think that for Nolan's second movie, he gets one of the stars of his movie is Carrie Ann Moss, who was just the year before in The Matrix, which was a massive movie, still to this day is a massive movie. It's pretty impressive that for basically his first big studio, big movie. This is, still made for only like $2 million or something like that. But for his first, like real professional made movie, to get somebody who was just coming off of a leading role in The Matrix is pretty crazy. Just the year after, that's insane. Looking back on it.
All right, and now we move to number 7. Trent, what would you put number 7?
So my number 7 is going to be the next movie. We're already getting 2/3 of the Batman trilogy out of the way because I'm putting Batman Begins here. Batman Begins, I think is great. Again, I think that The Dark Knight Rises is clearly the worst of the trilogy, and there's a lot of people that will say that a lot of big Batman Begins fans that will say that they think it's really not that far off from The Dark Knight. I would, obviously I'm putting it at number 7, but I would agree that like the it, I don't think that this is a trilogy where it's the Dark Knight masterpiece and then two that are not even close. I think that Batman Begins is very, very, very good. Um, and I would put it as one of the best comic book movies of all time. Certainly one of the best live action comic book movies of all time, and a fantastic start to one of the most popular trilogies in film history.
Yeah, I don't have much to add from you other than that I think Liam Neeson is a really good Ra's al Ghul. Cillian Murphy's a really good Scarecrow. The third
Cillian
act's a
Murphy.
little messy.
This is the first time that he works with Cillian Murphy, which he will move on, continue to do for quite a few times after this. Cillian Murphy is fantastic in this movie. Yeah, Christian Bale, great. I don't, you know, I'm a big Batman fan, as you can see. Um, Christian Bale's Batman, I think is great for what it is. It could be he's not really like the ideal Batman. He's not really my ideal Batman, but this trilogy is extremely entertaining, very fun to watch. And 2 out of the 3 movies in the trilogy, I think, are truly fantastic movies. So yeah, Batman
I
Begins
don't
number
know.
7.
I don't know who you are, but I hope you know he has a particular set of skills. Those skills that
Yep,
are good for hunting men like us. All right, so that is number
Taken,
7.
the
And
star,
then
the star of Taken, Liam Neeson. Also, it's
all
not
right,
Ra's al Ghul. also Christopher Nolan. It's not Ra's al Ghul. It's Ra's al Ghul. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Ready to
Number 6. Now we're putting Inception here.
Okay. All right.
Inception
Yep.
number 6. What to
That's
say?
fine. That's fine with me.
Really good visuals. One of Nolan's first attempts into a very highbrow sci-fi style story. I think he does a really good job here in some of the aspects of that regard. His first time working with Page. His first time, I think, working with Tom
Yep.
Hardy. Um, his
Yes.
first Leonardo DiCaprio feature. So a lot of
Yep.
good actors in here.
In like the prime of Leo's career,
Mm-hmm. And
and in like, and you could say like pretty much in like the prime of, right in the middle of the prime of Tom Hardy's career. Um, I agree that Page is quite good in this movie as well. Um, yeah, it's a great movie. It's one of those movies for me that I'm slightly lower on it than I used to be. But in terms of entertainment, I mean, this is like almost as good as it gets in terms of like, you know, rewatchability for a Nolan movie. If you just want like a sick, like just high adrenaline film, like it's very rewatchable, very fun to watch. One of his most entertaining, and it's still a great movie as well.
yep, and that top is still spinning. All right.
Still
Uh,
spinning.
let's move on.
Well,
So now we're up to the top 5, bro. The
we won't
high
get into that.
echelons
We
of
won't get into the top spinning debate, or else again we'll be here for
and we
hours
know how
talking
we,
about
we
that as
know
well.
how it ends thanks to Michael Caine. But top 5.
Yeah.
What are you putting at number 5, sir?
Number 5 for me is going to be Dunkirk.
And I'm going to use my
I
veto.
Oh my God.
I'm using my
God.
veto on Dunkirk. Sorry, mate. I have to. I have to, dude. I have to defend Dunkirk. I'm a bigger Dunkirk fan than you. So I am vetoing Dunkirk. So pick something else.
Yeah, I totally forgot that this was going to be the movie that you were going to put here. I really don't want to put this movie here because I love it. My top 4 Nolans are like I love. But at number 5, wait, are we missing a movie?
No, we still need the
Am I
Prestige, The
getting
Dark
screwed
Knight,
up here?
Dunkirk, Oppenheimer, and the Odyssey. We still need 5. We still need
Okay, you're
5.
right.
You're
My
good.
bad. My bad.
You're
My
good.
bad. Okay, my number 5 then. I wish I could just put the Odyssey here, but I haven't seen it. Is going to be the Prestige. Um, I love the Prestige. I think it's a fantastic movie. Another movie with a big twist. But I honestly think that this might be the most the best twist in a Nolan film, the most impactful twist in a Nolan film. I absolutely love. Um, Help me out here, Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale's performances in this movie. I think this might be. I think this might be one of the first examples where people would say that Nolan has like a female writing problem. They might say that more for it probably would really start with Batman Begins, but um, I disagree. I think that everyone's fantastic in this movie. I think that this is one of Nolan's like, tightest scripts, one of his most impressive films. Um, I think it's fantastic, and I think that this is really where, for me, I know that we haven't gone to Dunkirk because I would put Dunkirk here, but outside of Dunkirk, this is for me where we really get to like the amazing, amazing, like all timer Nolan films. Is this
And
top 5 area?
this film's great. I knew nothing about it when I went and decided to check it out, other than that Nolan directed it and that this man, Christian Bale's in it. Twist is great. Bale is incredible. Hugh Jackman's incredible. Scarlett Johansson's incredible. Rebecca Hall is incredible. It's an all well-rounded picture. Some of Nolan's best writing. It's his best original film, and I think that, you know what, I credit where credit's due. When Nolan when Nolan does an original that's not a mind-bending experience, it's pretty fucking good. So yeah, all right, The
Yeah,
Prestige,
I will
number
just
5.
say, I will just say, I'm losing my train of thought here. Oh, you will probably disagree with this. Um, this might be my number one Hugh Jackman performance. Obviously, Christian Bale is arguably the best actor of the century, or one of the best actors of the century. He's phenomenal in this. It's not Christian Bale's best performance, but obviously Christian Bale is on a higher tier of actor than Hugh Jackman. I think we can both agree. Um, I would probably put this as um, possibly Hugh Jackman's best performance. Obviously, he was Wolverine for, well, he's unfortunately still Wolverine. He's still going to continue to be Wolverine. I know a lot of people would obviously point to Logan, um, but this might be the best Hugh Jackman performance I've seen for me personally, or maybe at
No,
least my favorite.
I agree. I think it's his best. But Prestige
Maybe
number
my favorite.
5.
Maybe yeah. I mean, Scarlett Johansson, Rebecca Hall are good in this movie. Andy Serkis. Um, and I mean, I love Andy Serkis. Obviously, it's not his best performance because of the Apes films, and I guess those Lord of the Rings films that people like for some reason. But yeah, I think this is like a phenomenal movie. This is like really the beginning of his phenomenal movies. And I just now noticed that you put the Odyssey here. So we'll move
Well,
on.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, one, you're gonna get flamed for that Lord of the Rings take. Just be ready for that. I'm
I'm
clipping
I'm
that
Joe.
out.
I'm obviously joking. I think the Lord of the Rings films are great. I just don't think that they're the best thing since sliced bread. That's all.
All right, I won't clip it out now. I'll save you some. I'll save you some criticism. But yeah, number 4, The Odyssey. I've already talked about it at length because I saw it on Saturday. I talked about it earlier because of my review. Really well made Nolan. Top 5. I would say again, craftsmanship definitely on display. Great performances by a lot of people, and a little work needed on the script department, and the pacing department and the sound department. But you can't deny Nolan has the capabilities of taking you on an adventure on a grand scale. Maybe not a giant religious experience like people make it out to be, but it's definitely big. It's definitely great, and yeah, check it out. However you can. If you can't get to IMAX, that's okay. But yeah,
Yeah,
number 4 is The Odyssey.
we're not going to be the kind of people that are going to sit there and tell you that you know that you're viewing it wrong if if you can't afford to go to New York City and watch it on the biggest screen possible. And just yeah,
You have to
we're
see
not
this
going to be
man
those
aura farm.
snooty people.
You have to see this man aura farm on IMAX 70 millimeter, or you're seeing Christopher Nolan wrong. Yeah, no, that's not how that works, bud. See this on
Yeah.
any screen you can.
Yep.
Hopefully in theaters. If not in theaters, it's fine. But this, I even forgot to mention Benny Safdie as Agamemnon. Barely talks. Has like two, 3 lines in the whole movie. Aura farms the
Oh
undying
yeah.
crap out of the camera in that suit, by the way. Just want to point that out. But I'll leave it
Yeah.
there. So yeah, number 3, we're going with the Odyssey, and now we're down to
Number
our
four, we're going with
top.
the Odyssey.
Number 4, we're going with the
Yep.
Odyssey. Sorry, number 3.
Okay. Okay. So I have number 3. Um. Shit. Okay. So. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, this is clear for me then. I forgot. I was blanking on what's still on the board, but number three for me. Number three for me is going to have to be Dunkirk. Um, yeah, I mean, this is a. Why am I the one that's talking about this movie? You love this way more than me. Um, I loved I really loved Dunkirk. I saw it in theaters. I saw it in theaters before I even knew who Christopher Nolan was. I remember going with my grandparents. I was visiting them. They were living in Illinois at the time. We went, and I remember seeing it in theaters. I must have been uh, thir- 13, 14 years old, and I'm pretty sure I was battling the entire time to not fall asleep. Um, but but then I revisited it maybe 2 years ago now, and I loved it. Thought it was fantastic. I think it's one of the best modern war films I've seen. Um, very well done. Um, yeah, and I'll give you the floor now because I know that you're a bit more.
One of the best war films of this century so far. One of
Yep,
the most underrated Christopher Nolan film he has in his filmography.
it's not
This
true.
is
It's not
simply
true.
just.
That goes to
This
Tenet.
is no, it doesn't. But this is remarkable almost every aspect, and I know why you love it, Trent. Harry Styles appears in the movie, so I know why you love it. I don't have to
Yeah,
remind you
yes,
of
yeah.
that.
That's definitely
Yeah,
the reason
yeah, it's
why I'm a massive
definitely the
fan.
reason. Yeah, it's definitely the reason why you love the movie because Harry Styles shows up,
I like Harry Styles. I don't know why you're making it seem like I hate him.
and he does a
I
good
like Harry
job.
Styles.
He does a good
Yeah,
job.
yeah, he does do a good job. You know another movie that he does a really good job in? Underrated masterpiece, Eternals. But we'll talk about that another day.
But yeah, I would say yeah, Dunkirk is my number three too. So that kind of just makes things more natural. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, don't say
But
two because it's not my number three. It would have been my number six. But of course, you had to sit there and oh god,
you know it at the
it's
right
fine.
time. All right,
It's okay.
top two Nolan, and this one should be pretty easy. Number
Yep.
two, one of the greatest comic book films of all time.
Yep.
The second best, one of the top two Batman films of all time. The Dark Knight.
Nope. But
What more do I have to say?
in terms of live action, Batman, sure, but not a top two Batman movie.
Um, what is there to say about it hasn't already been said? Nolan, was cooking with heat here. Um, he he basically just he used heat as inspiration and decided to take off and make a masterpiece on a scale that he hadn't made before, and he gave the world this beautiful man right here, Heath Ledger's final performance as
Now I
Joker.
thought my jokes were bad. Good
This
evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment. I only have
there
one question. Where is
one of the most quote his most quotable movie, probably I would say.
Well, other
Definitely
than
most
Tenet,
quotable in
yeah,
that regard.
for sure.
But
For sure, at least top two.
well, you shut up about Tenet. Dark Knight probably his most quotable film. You know, iconic Joker moments spread out the whole thing. Aaron Eckhart as Two Face is a really good as well. Don't want to leave him out. Gary Oldman, Jim Gordon, Christian Bale's Batman shines better here, even though the voice starts to dip a little bit. I
What's the
mean,
difference between you and me? I'm not wearing hockey pads.
my Michael Caine's a great Alfred. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yep.
You can't help it. And again, the amount of lines you can quote from this movie is insane. Just being
Yeah.
able to quote
It's
Joker.
like it's one of those Nolan films. Nolan is usually very good at like storybooking his films, right? The opening and the closing of his films are usually some of the best scenes in his movies. This is maybe the best example of that, where we open with the crashing into the building, and we get the bank robbery, and then it closes with him on the bike, and there's the monologue about, about being a hero, right? And he's driving off on his bike into the, going up the ramp, and oh man, chills, man.
Yep.
Like this,
Yep. I
this movie's
mean,
so good.
there's chills even with just a silent like just Joker in that stupid pool table. Like my father was a drinker, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean
like, all right,
he
yeah,
does
I
it multiple times
yeah,
throughout the film, because
yep, love that, love
he
it.
does it in the scene that I was quoting with the "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," the party scene, and then he does it again, when he's in the bag, and then yeah, the whole point of that is one thing they do very well about with this Joker that I'm not going to get too comic book nerdy on on here, because this isn't a superhero podcast, but one thing that this movie does do very well with this Joker is the inconsistent. He tells his backstory, and very inconsistently, and that's kind of the whole point of the Joker character, is that he doesn't really have a backstory. Tom Phillips, and so he doesn't really have like one definitive backstory, or background, and kind of the whole point of his character is that he's just chaos, and he's just the personification of chaos, and that's kind of really all we're supposed to know about his character. And they do a very good job in this movie with every time he talks about his life, it's like he'll tell the same story, but he tells it differently, and it's purposefully inconsistent, so that and I just think that's a very good way of doing everything about the way that about the way that the Joker is done in this movie is just near perfect, and pretty much as good as it can get in live action. And yeah,
But that
you're
means
muted. You're muted.
yeah, I just said it was so easy to praise. No big deal. Only like a second clip of me being muted and trying to talk. But that means there's only one film left that can be number one, and that would be the only Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer,
That's what it's
baby.
called. Oppenheimer, one of the top 10 films of the last of this decade so far. Cillian Murphy, incredible performance. Um, I don't. There's so much we can talk about
Yep,
with Oppenheimer. The use of practical effects to make the bomb explosions, the haunting ending, the Ludwig Göransson's score, Robert Downey Jr.'s incredible work, a lot of great performances, whether it be Alden Ehrenreich, whether it be Benny Safdie, whether it be Emily Blunt, whether it is Cillian Murphy or Robert Downey
yep,
Jr., whether it's the guy who played Albert Einstein, whether there's too many names to think of. Like even Jack Quaid's in the movie, and he
yeah,
does a good job with his like couple lines. Like it's so good.
right.
Nolan thrives on adaptations.
Novocaine himself.
I have been saying that for years now. Adaptations is where Nolan thrives because he does stuff like this and gives us great movies like this. So,
Hmm.
yeah, Oppenheimer number 1. I mean, the ending sequence of the movie where you get to feel Oppenheimer's dread about how, we basically destroyed the world without actually destroying the world because now there's nuclear weapons all over the place. And that message and the score, it's just brilliant work, and I'm very happy with it. Won Nolan his Oscars, and
Yep.
deserves every praise under the sun. So I don't know if you have anything you want to add about Oppenheimer.
Well, I just wanted to comment on what you said about him doing adaptations, and this isn't like set in stone true for everything with him, but it's kind of um, funny like a clown. Sorry, it's funny how like you know a lot of Nolan's films that tend to be like his most popular, and that tend to have get like the most praise from like the average viewer who isn't like a big film fan, tends to be his tends to be his original films like Interstellar, Inception, Memento. But then outside of like The Dark Knight, which obviously everyone loves as well. but then the films that like are his adaptations tend to be like what like big film fans and like critics tend to consider his best films, like Oppenheimer and the Dark Knight. And oh yeah, I said the Dark Knight was an original film. Obviously, that's not true. But like Oppenheimer, like the Dark Knight, like the Odyssey, right? So I just think that's like a funny contrast with between like fans and critics with like what they tend to champion the most and what tends to be like the most rewatchable for a lot of them. Um, yeah.
Yep. So Odyssey number 1. Now, before we do our own personal rankings, I do want to make a correction because in the box office segment, I said that the Odyssey is Nolan's second biggest worldwide opening. It's his number 1. It is
Yeah,
his
that was
number
something
1
that I'm
biggest
pretty sure I
opening
said that earlier,
worldwide.
right? Didn't I say that earlier when you said, didn't I correct you? I thought I said, because what I thought I saw was that it was his number one.
Yeah,
That it's
I
like,
just
I think the number two is that it's the second, it's either, maybe I'm wrong on this, but maybe it's the second biggest opening for an R-rated film.
I think it's
I heard,
third
I
for
was
R-rated,
watching a
second.
video, I was watching a video like just a couple hours ago before we started recording about, somebody talking about how the Odyssey was opening, and they talked about how it's blank of the top R-rated films, and then it's blank of the top Nolan films, and it was like in the top two for both of like biggest openings for a Nolan film and biggest openings for an R-rated film. Um, which the other one, the other one might be the Odyssey. Like they might be the same two films. Is was Oppenheimer up there for R-rated films? I'm not sure, but for openings.
I think it opened to 200 million worldwide. It might be. I don't know, but it's not. So it's number 3, number third biggest opening for an R-rated film behind Deadpool 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the biggest opening of Christopher
Disgusting.
Nolan's career.
Two bad movies.
The biggest opening of Christopher Nolan's career worldwide, and then the second biggest worldwide opening of the year so far. So there you go.
Yep. So
Congratulations, Christopher Nolan.
congratulations, Christopher Nolan. But yeah. Now make sure before you screen share our personal Nolan rankings, make sure you scroll to the bottom all the way past ours because you want to reveal them 13-1, right? Is that what you wanted to say?
Yes.
Or 13 to
So
1 for
hold
you,
on.
12 to 1 for me, because I haven't seen the Odyssey yet.
All right. So we're gonna have to do mine first because the way this is structured. So
Yeah.
personal ranking time, and I'm going first. And
I
my
hope
number
you get I hope that if we get a decent amount of people commenting on the podcast or whatever clips we post, I hope that there are a lot of Tenet defenders watching this, because man, I hope you get flamed for this.
How about now? I can't wait to see all the people call me based. Now, number 13, Tenet. Oh my
5-star
god,
film.
I did it wrong. That's a great. All right, that's another clip possibly. I'll just spoil everything while I'm here. All right, number 12 is
5-star
Following.
film.
Number 11 is Interstellar. 10, I have The Dark Knight Rises. 9 is Insomnia. 8 is Inception. 7 is Memento for me. 6 is
Yep.
Batman Begins. 5 is The Odyssey. 4 is The Prestige. 3 is Dunkirk. 2 is The Dark Knight. And 1 is Oppenheimer. Seems like a very, very good list if I say so myself. Nothing could possibly be wrong with it there. But now, Trent, we get into yours. And
the only really big difference between our two is Tenet. I have Dunkirk lower than the top three, but I don't have it like that much lower than 3. Tenet's really the only one where I'm like, dude, what the hell?
all
Like
right, and now Trent, you're 12 because you haven't seen the Odyssey yet. So what do we got here?
yep, we've got Falling at number 12. We've already talked about these, so just like you, I'm just gonna kind of quickly go through these. But yeah, 12 is Following, 11 The Dark Knight Rises, 10 is Insomnia, 9 is Memento, 8, we've got Interstellar. 7, Batman Begins. 6 is where I'm gonna have Dunkirk. So lower on it than you, but not by a ton. 5 is Inception, which I believe is where we had it on the list, correct? No, we had
I think
Inception.
so. No, it's 6. So, and then we had it at. I can
We had it
scroll
at
back up
6,
and look
yeah.
where we had it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had it at 6. We had it at 6. Okay, so yep, 4 is 4 is where I have the Prestige. This is where, for me, my top 4 is like really where we get to like all-time great films. Films that I would put in my top, 200, 150 to 200-ish films of all time. Like we're working with like near master classes here. 3, The Dark Knight. Yep. 2 is where I have Tenet. This is where we start
Criminal.
to get to my 5-star, like flat out masterpieces. I think his top 2 films, Tenet, Oppenheimer, 5-star masterpieces. Those are his 2 5-star films. His 2, like for me, just like his like shared magnum opuses. I don't think I'll ever see a Nolan film again for the rest of my life that outdoes either films. I really don't. I just, man, those for me. I know you said that Oppenheimer is in your top. You said, I know you were probably trying to be conservative, but you said that Oppenheimer was like top 10 films of the decade for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer and Tenet are like 2 of my top 5, maybe even 2 of my top 3 films of the decade so far. Of the last 6 years. Um, two of the only like surefire like masterpiece films that we've gotten in the 2020s so far. Beautiful films, absolutely beautiful.
No.
So amazing.
No. Tenet being a 2 is criminal, but you know what? You do you, bro. All right, and that's our personal Nolan rankings. And that is our Nolan episode. Anything you want
Yep.
to add before I turn around and end this recording?
No, just great time for film. Great time for film fans. Christopher Nolan coming back with a new massive film. It's a good time. Good time for theaters.
Good time for theaters, good time for Nolan Bros, good time for cinephiles, good time for casuals, good time for everybody.
Good time for Tenet fans. Let's go. Let's go,
It's
Tenet.
never good.
I'm just gonna talk about this movie as much as I can throughout this episode because
No.
it might be one of the only times that I get to. Let's go.
Would
Tenet,
you look at the
baby.
time? We have to end. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Wait. Hold on. I've got one more. I've got one more. Oh, is it here? It may not be here. Oh, it is here. Ready?
This is the crown jewel, anyways. It's fine.
Yeah. Dark Knight, Tenet. Let's go.
See that's not half bad. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening to yet another episode of the Critical Lens podcast. Had an absolute blast filming it again. Thank you very much, Trent, for joining me once again.
Of course.
All right. Go see Odyssey. Have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you once again for listening.
Peace out, people.